Today we're going to give this shed some much needed attention. In fact, I'm going to do a mini series on all the repairs that we're doing here. This shed's getting some floor joists replaced, a rim joist board, it's getting new T111, it's getting new windows that I am going to make. We'll feature that in a video. We're just going to break it down into 4 or 5 videos. We're going to install some new fascia board, a soffit. We're just going to pretty this thing up a little bit. It's old and it just needs a little love. Hi everybody, I'm Jim Dierdorf and this is Detroit DIY. Let's take a closer look at what's going on. I don't know where they found this. This is T111 looking OSB. I have no idea where they may have found it. They put a small piece of OSB down here. It's crumbling and falling apart. But worst yet, and what we're going to do today, is we are going to replace that rim joist right there. It is completely rotten and needs to be replaced. This is going to require a little jacking. You can see that the building has settled, and that's because of the rotten board. We're also going to be replacing this floor joist. I'm not sure which way is which, whether this is the joist or this is the rim joist, but this is also rotten here by the door. So I've got some womanized material. We're going to get this tore apart and get these 2 new boards in. I need to remove this piece that they stuck on here for whatever reason. It's not attached very well. I'm sure this is just to cover up some rot that was here. We'll get that off. Now what I want to do is I want to put a 10-foot 2x4 across here so that I can use jacks and 4x4s to hold this up while I replace this floorboard. You can see that it's really bad. The next thing on my list is to cut this T111, this OSB, off so that I can get my 10-foot board on here to get my jack under it and lift this up. Now that that's off and all the nails are pulled, I'm going to go ahead and just cut this off. Normally if I knew I would have, it's supposed to pour rain later tonight and tomorrow, so I don't want to rip all this off. I'm just going to cut a little strip off the bottom, see how far I get. I set my saw at 5/8 of an inch, so I hope that was deep enough. I'm going to be using an 8-ton bottle jack to lift this up, and I've got this 2x4. I've marked it at 1 foot. This is 10 foot long. The wall is 8, so it's going to leave me a 1 foot overhang on each side. I'm just going to set it right there to help me hold it up, and I am going to go ahead and secure it about there. I am using decking screws, and no, they will not shear off. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of screws in each stud, and then we'll be ready to lift this up. I have my jack sitting on a 2x4. I've got it fairly leveled. This may break it. I'm not sure. I don't think it will. We're going to go ahead and start lifting this up and get it where we want it. Now, as you can see, we're lifting it with ease, so I don't want to overlift it. I just want to get enough room to fit that new board in here. I'm going to grab a tape measure and check that. We are not quite there yet. A little bit more. We'll go just a little bit more, and we're going to call it. Now what I want to do is attach this 4x4 right here. And this is going to hold it in place so that I can move my jack over there and do the exact same thing. It's getting hot out. And these are 3.5-inch decking screws. Decking screws don't shear off quite as easy as what people might have you think. They're pretty sturdy. That may have settled down more than I wanted it to, but that's okay. If I need to, I can nudge it up a little bit with the jack as I go. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, and then we'll get that board out of there. I just want to say that the principles for this are the same. Whether this is a house, a shed, if you're replacing a piece of wood underneath, you have to find a way to raise it up slightly to get the new board in, to take the old one out, and get everything back the way it needs to be. I've laid me down a tarp to keep me from taking a dirt bath. What I want to do now, it's supported, it's lifted, and I want to cut a piece of this out of here just to help me better get it off. It is not thoroughly rotted, but it's rotten enough that it needs to go. To show you how easy that pulled out of there, and you can really see some of the degradation, how bad it's compromised. Alright, I'm going to keep doing the same thing until I get it completely out. With the rim joist removed, I now have to cut some nails off. What they'll do is they'll drive nails through the bottom plate into that rim joist to secure the wall to the bottom plate. So we need to cut these nails off. When we get our new rim joist in, we are going to re-secure that. I've got the nails cut, and I've got a little issue here. During my initial inspection, I did not realize this board was a little compromised, only on this very end. So I'm just going to sister another piece on back to the floor joist. They designed the joist, the floor joist, in this like a grid, so they're running both directions. This is one of the floor joists here. We're going to need to mark them here so we can draw a line on our new sill joist to the center of these. The other thing I want to do is come in through here and put a screw in just to pull these up nice and tight to the floor. There's 3 of those, there's another one, and there's the 3rd one. So we're going to get them secured next and marked out. Then we'll get our board sistered onto here. I've got my floor joist secured to the floor. I use 2.5-inch decking screws, just one of them right at the inside of the wall. It's kind of dark in there, so filming it wouldn't have been very good. What I want to do now is cut this piece. And I want to leave it 1.5 inches shy of coming out through the end so that I can put my structural screws right through this outside edge of it. It's 23 1/4. Let's go get that marked out and cut. With this board cut to length, I'm going to go ahead and slide it under here, and I'm going to put just 2 decking screws in it to hold it into place, and then I'll put structural screws in it. This is womanized pressure treated lumber. There's a difference between womanized and the weather shield that you would see at Home Depot or Lowe's. I'm going to make a video on that in a little bit and explain what exactly the differences are. The end of that board is right here, so I'm just going to come in a little bit because I want to get structural screws right here. We'll hold that up there real nice and push this in. Go. Now I'm going to do the same thing down here, make sure it's pushed up into place. I'm going to have to get my flat bar in there and push it up. I'll just wedge it in there like that. I know it's tight. Get me another screw down here. With that in place, we're now ready to mark out our new rim joist and get it cut and get it installed. So I want to start out right here, and I'm just going to come to the center of this, exactly 24 inches. We're going to write that right here. Now we're going to move down to the next, and then the next, and do the same thing, all leaving the end of our tape measure in the same place. This is 46 7/8. This is 67 3/4. And our full length is going to be 93 1/8. With all our measurements, I'm going to get this cut to length, and then I'm going to get my joist marks on it and get it on here. I've got my new rim joist cut and marked out. You want to make certain that you draw a reference line on here, a reference mark, so that you know which end is which. Because if you put it in upside down, your marks are going to be in the wrong place and you're not going to be screwing into anything. I'm going to be using headlock fasteners. These are 2 7/8 inch. They are approved for womanized lumber, and they will last a long time and hold this secure. Let's get this thing installed. Another thing you may want to do before you install it is just slip it in here, make sure our fit is adequate, and it is, and then just make sure that your lines are in the correct place, and they are. So we're going to go ahead and stand this up and get it slid in there. That's kind of what I was worried about. That side has set down just a little bit too far. And I missed a nail. Well, let's see what happens when I lower the jack, if it sits down on it or not. I'm hopeful that it doesn't. And it has sat down on it. I'm going to put a piece of wood underneath of this because I want that to hold it up just slightly. I want to see if this little thin piece of OSB is going to be enough to do the trick. It was not. Okay. Got a piece of 2x4 under there. And that is going to hold it up enough for me. Now that I've regrouped, it's going to fit in here just fine. I need to tap it this way just a little bit. Center still doesn't quite want to go under. I am going to raise it up a little more. There we go. With everything pushed in place, I'm going to take my flat bar, put it under here, and I'm going to pry it up. I'm going to go ahead and get a headlock started. I was going to put this structural screw in, I was looking at it and I thought, you know what, that's gonna split. So I quit and I drilled me some 5/16 pilot holes throughout everywhere that I'm gonna put a screw. I've got my flat bar pried up under here and I've got this pushed up into place. Now I want to go inside and I want to sink a screw right through here, through the floor and into this to pull it up. Then I'm going to do the same thing at the other end and then a couple in the middle. I experienced a little technical difficulty. I use a GoPro to record everything with, and this is the first time it has ever overheated on me. It is about 90 degrees out, there's a little sun. I'm a little overheated myself, but I'm gonna make it through. The GoPro didn't. I did not put the structural screws in this other side just yet. I want to go ahead and get this one out and get it setting back down on the rim joist so that it'll push everything kind of back into place. Currently the door won't close, so once it's all back into place, I've got a couple of decking screws over there just kind of holding it against the joist, so we should be good to go. It shouldn't move on me. I'm going to do the same thing here. This one is compromised underneath as well, so I'm going to remove this one. I've got the jack down there just supporting it currently. It is not trying to lift it up at this point in time. Bumping into something right there. I'm going to continue on removing this and then we'll come back when I'm ready to get the new one in. I have this board cut. I have all my pilot holes in it. Now I just want to get it slid into place. I am going to put one decking screw down here, use my pinch bar to push it up, and hopefully I can make this happen. I'm just going to put this decking screw through my pilot hole to hold it in place. Here's the thing, nobody said this was easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. That is allowing me to push it all the way up. I'm going to put one decking screw in here. That's going to be enough to hold it. I would like to get it up there tighter. It was letting me push right up against this right here. It's pushing up real nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and move over a little bit, push that up, and then I'm going to come back to this one. So I'm going to do the same thing, one decking screw right in the middle here so that it doesn't interfere with my structural screws. That is tight. Everything else is pretty tight now, but I think I want to get one more screw down there. It's tight, but I want to pull it in. What I want to do now is go ahead and drop this jack out of here. I still have this other side holding, so I'm not too worried about it. I want to get the jack right here and push this up. There's a cement footing here that sticks out a little bit, and I am going to set the jack on that. Now I just want to get some pressure on here, not really push it too much, and then I want to get this screw out. With the screw out, I'm going to just go ahead and push this into place. I like that. It's tight to the floor. This 2x4 dimensionally is a little bit bigger than this existing one. The tops are flush. I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 structural screws in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just set this thing down. I'm going to fix this center section a little bit. There's a support there that's kind of not so good. I'm going to fix that real quick, and then we'll set everything down. With the jack holding this side up, I'm going to go ahead and get this out and set it down, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, get it setting right back where it's supposed to be. Alright, I'm going to get the other side and we'll be back down on the ground. We're sitting back down on the foundation. The door is opening and closing fine. It's a little different. The hasp doesn't go back on quite the way it would. So this is a little higher than it was, which is understandable because the board was rotten and that was sitting lower. I don't know if it was that way when they put this stuff on or not. Doesn't matter, it's getting a new door. So now all we have to do is get our structural screws in and this will be a wrap. Alright, I'm going to keep going, get these in, we'll take a look when it's all done. I've got it all wrapped up, the structural screws are in, most of my mess is picked up, turned out really good. I'm really happy with it. I cannot complain a bit. For that little bit of structural work that this shed needed was easy to do. Took 6 hours and was pretty easy to do. Now it's time for some T111. I'm going to make a playlist in my channel. It'll be called Shed Renovation, and it's going to feature everything that I do to this shed. That's all we got for this time. If you'd like to get an amazing shirt like this, I've put a link down in the description to my store. We have sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, all kinds of cool stuff. I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd check it out. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, it would mean the world to me if you'd do so. If you enjoyed yourself, click on one of those 2 videos. They're going to pop up next to me. And remember to always respect the power of your power.